Good evening. Welcome to Reasonable Doubt. I'm your host, Todd DuPont. Reasonable Doubt is a weekly live call-in talk show sponsored by the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. Let me jump right in and introduce my first and only guest this evening. You know him, you love him, Mr. Robert Fickman.
Thanks for having me, Todd. It's nice to be back.
How are you?
I don't know how many people love me, but my kids do.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Not too terribly bad. How was your day today?
Not as stressful as yesterday, but it was a little bit stressful.
I had a 15-minute not guilty yesterday, so
That's
I had
a good day.
Well, it was for my client.
We had 6 good jurors.
Well, they exercised their rights to find somebody not guilty.
6 good jurors, good and true.
Okay, let's jump in. The show's not about me, it's about you. Let's talk about, what are we going to talk about tonight, Rob?
Jesus.
What are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, I think the issue of today is that there's a really important issue, and thanks for inviting me back on the show. There's an issue that's just hit, I just found out about it today.
Right.
I spoke to Fred Fickman, who is the general manager of this station, basically the boss of this station.
Gotcha.
And has been for, I guess, a year or so, and a really nice man. And what he advised me of was rather shocking. This station has been in existence for about 20 years.
Okay.
And what he advised me was that he had a meeting yesterday with the mayor's chief of staff, I believe that's a gentleman's title.
Okay.
A gentleman, deputy chief of staff, I'm sorry, a gentleman named Terrence Fontaine, I believe is his name.
Okay.
And that during that meeting, he was informed that the city of Houston was going to cut off, my understanding was 90% to 100% of all funding for Houston Media Source, all funding for access cable in the city of Houston, which is very dramatic news, and something needs to be done, and we need to talk about it.
And basically this broke today, correct?
Yeah, it's just breaking now, actually. It hasn't even, I don't think it's even in the newspaper yet.
Right.
I assume it'll be in the Houston Chronicle tomorrow. The local media will probably be picking it up in the next couple of days. It's a huge story because understanding a little bit of the background might help. For 20 years, based on some federal law, various cities around the United States have sponsored or funded public access TV.
Right.
And the funding has come not from taxpayer money at all. It's come from franchise agreements with the cable companies. In other words,
right.
The cable companies collect so much money from the people that are getting cable.
Sure.
And a very small percentage of that money by agreement goes into the city, and the city holds it and then gives it to Houston Media Source. So
right.
Bottom line is it's not tax dollars. And that's gone on for 20 years to sponsor public access TV so that nonprofit organizations, minority organizations, individuals that qualified as producers would
sure.
have a place to exercise free speech in a meaningful way in our mass media culture.
Right.
And what's happened here is that apparently on a nationwide basis, as a result of, well, we can talk about why this happened in a minute,
sure.
but what's happened here locally is Fred Fickman, Mr. Fickman, learned yesterday in a meeting that he sought. In fact, he wasn't even told. He heard a rumor about it, as I understand it, and went and sought the meeting with the mayor's, the assistant deputy chief. He learned that the funding for this station was going to be eliminated by the city. And the city has some excuse or that it's at their discretion, and it may well be legally at their discretion to do this, but it's a horrible decision. I don't think city council has voted on it.
Right.
I don't know if the mayor himself has ruled on this, but the way it was, first of all, the way it was handed down, or the way this information came to Mr. Fickman was, I would say, in a very, as described to me, no, I would say it was very disrespectful. He is the manager of this station. This station provides an enormous public service. And for him to have to go and seek the meeting rather than being called to say we have some issues. But so this has gone on for 20 years. This station has been in existence in Houston. And so it's a real dramatic thing that's happening here. And anybody who believes in the First Amendment needs to step up to the plate now and contact the mayor's office, contact your local city councilman, and tell them that you're against this.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is, it's real simple. If the city cuts off its funding for the station, there will be no station. And in every producer, there's 300 individual producers who air shows on this station. There's at least 30 different organizations, including our organization, that airs a program on this station. Every one of those programs will go off the air because this station will go off the air. And there will be no other station available for this public access. The whole point of public access is to allow the voice for minority groups, for underprivileged, for people that would not otherwise have a voice, to have a voice in this mass media culture of ours. I mean, the chances of us getting airtime on Channel 13 or Channel 11 are pretty slim.
Sure. Let me stop, and I want to give the callers. You need to start calling right now, and here's the reason why. We've got, I don't know, now I've got 23 minutes left, but you have an audience, whether it be the mayor himself, whether it be all the city council folks, or anybody that's involved in this issue. I want you to call you and tell them at least what our little show means to you. Which one, Rob?
The email, if you would.
Well, shucks. This one here?
Yeah, that's good.
The bottom line is this. We do this show. We think it's a good public service duty, and Harris County Criminal Lawyers have done this for a long, long time.
There's the mayor's phone number right there.
All right. Well, you can give it to him. I'm not interested in doing that at this point.
I'm happy to.
But here's the bottom line. We have 30 minutes, in essence, for you guys. We can sit here, Rob and I could sit here and tell the mayor and City Hall, you can't beat City Hall, but we can tell them why this is important. Well, why don't you do the same thing? This show is going to be aired a number of times through the week, at different times during the week.
Right. Let me talk a little bit more about the understanding I have about the money we're talking about. We're talking about around $800,000, which is a little bit, give or take, that is the funding for this station, and it pays for everything this station does. It pays for all the employees.
Right.
It pays for everything, and or 90% thereof. So without that funding, the station will go under.
Period. It will
go under.
It goes off the air.
Right. Now, what people need to understand is that one of the other things that came out during this meeting is that there was at least whether or not it was a joking statement or not, I wasn't present during the conversation, was that the money was going to be diverted to HPD.
Okay.
Now, this is particularly troubling because HPD, its budget in the last 3 or 4 years has gone from the 400 millions, 480 million,
right,
to now where the 2007 budget, I believe, for HPD is just under $600 million.
And
this is an agency that, according to today's Houston Chronicle, I don't know if you can get a shot of this, Mark, according to the Houston Chronicle of today, this is an agency that can't even keep track of their own guns that they have in the property room.
21 guns missing.
21 guns missing, and we're going to take all the money that the city gives to allow free speech in this city, to allow free speech to have meaning in this city. We're going to take that money, according to what Mr. Fickman was told yesterday, and that money is going to be diverted to HPD. HPD has $600 million to police our streets. They don't need that $800,000.
And in fact, there's some officers that make...
Oh, there's some that make $100,000 in overtime.
Right. I mean, there's some officers that make almost $200,000 a year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So at the end of the day, that may even go to $800,000. We're getting there. That may even just compensate 4 people.
Right. What this amounts to is, if you close down this station, in effect what it is, it's a suppression of free speech. And the hallmark of a free society is free speech, and the hallmark of a 2-bit dictatorship or of a dictatorship is the suppression of free speech.
Right.
And what this is, in my opinion, is somewhere in the background here, if you look deep enough, you're going to find that there's some political motivation for this, the suppression of free speech on this station.
Are you getting paid to be here today?
No, the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, as you know, since you're the current host, the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association provides this show free of charge. In fact, we pay to air the show as a public service
Right.
to answer questions about criminal law and to advocate certain positions
Right.
for liberty and justice. And if they want to shut down that voice, they're going to have hell to pay, because we're not going to sit silently while this happens. Now, I have sent a letter to the mayor this evening as president of the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, and the mayor is a lawyer. He's a man of integrity, and I hope and expect that he'll do the right thing when he learns of what's maybe going on behind his back. And I don't think council's even voted on this, so I hope people will pick up that phone and they can call the mayor's office. They can call the mayor's office at 713-247-2200. That's 713-247-2200. And I'm sure the mayor's office would love to hear from you.
Got a first call. Hi, caller.
Yes, I'm calling to keep on HMS, the
Okay.
city of Houston.
What is,
What's the media source?
right, what does it mean to you, sir?
It means everything because it has so much information that we learn from it. And it have different programs on that you won't get on just the regular station.
Right now, you're talking to the mayor. You tell the mayor why you think he should keep this station open, why they should fund this.
Okay,
I need you to be quick. I expect the phones to ring tonight.
okay. Tell me when.
Right now,
Right
sir.
now.
Okay, because it helped the community. It gives the lesser man an opportunity to express the First Amendment to the Constitution, and without it, it take away from this great city of Houston.
Right.
It's an equal city, and it giving everybody a chance. To take it away, it's like the little man don't have a voice.
Right. Listen, thanks for calling. I got to cut you short. I want as many people to talk to the mayor tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll just keep hopefully fielding
Well,
calls.
and, this gentleman that just called, he makes the point. I mean, he said the lesser man or the little man. None of us is lesser than the other. Some people have more power. Some people have more money, but in no way are they lesser men. And that
Right.
gentleman right there, he's every bit as man as anybody with a multi-million dollars, Bob Lanier, or any of those characters.
I've got a call. Thanks for calling, caller.
Hi, Todd.
You're talking to the mayor. Let's get right to it.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I would really like to know why does the city council feel that they have to butt in?
Well, right now we're not suggesting they have.
We're not even sure that City Council has even voted on this. It wasn't clear to Mr. Fickman that Council had voted on it. If Council did vote on it, I don't know that it was a public vote. I mean, the way it was presented to me was it sounded almost like a decision that had already been made, and comments were made to Mr. Fickman that, yeah, sure, there'll probably be some public uproar for 3 weeks. Well, I can guarantee the Assistant Deputy Chief that there'll be more public uproar than for 3 weeks. I will personally make public uproar for a hell of a lot longer than that.
Why
Well,
keep?
I would like to tell both of you all that I'm going to jump on board. I'm going to write letters. I'm going to get everybody I
Thank
know
you.
to protest this. This
Why?
is a good show, a good station.
Yeah, I want to know why.
At least the programs in English are good shows.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, you believe it needs to stick around.
Yes, because it's very informative. If we're not sitting in a courtroom, because some of us have jobs, if we're not sitting in a courtroom, we're not sitting in your office,
Right.
we have no idea what's going on. We learn a lot about the law, and nowadays, unfortunately, we have to learn the law and know the law more than we used to, because the law is not exactly straight with us. And so,
Right.
for self-preservation, we need to learn the law, and nobody seems to tell us.
I'm telling you right now, if you want to keep
Very-
seeing me on this television show, or in all of our guests, we have wonderful guests that come on every week and
I know, I
donate their
watch-
time.
faithfully every Thursday night.
Get involved. Let me hang up. Hopefully, I can get some calls tonight.
So what do you want us to do?
Call the
Rob?
mayor's office. Call the mayor's office at 713-247-2200, or you can email the mayor at mayor@cityofhouston.net.
You can find him on the website. Thank you for calling, dear.
Thank you.
It means a lot. Well, Rob, let's get them energized.
I mean, the people of this country have paid too high a price over too many years in war and in civil rights struggles. I was listening to Martin Luther King tapes today, Martin Luther King speeches, and too many people have suffered for too long a time for some bureaucrat to come along and try to shut down the First Amendment. It's not going to happen. You said a minute ago that you can't beat City Hall or whatever, I don't know, whatever the old saying is.
Right, can't beat City Hall.
Yes, you can. And we're going to beat City Hall if we have to. This station is going to stay on the air come hell or high water, and City Hall is making a big mistake if they think people are just going to crawl away on this one, because we're not. And we hope that the mayor will do the right thing. You know, I sent a letter to the mayor. I respect the mayor. He's a man of integrity. And
He's done a lot of really good things for this city.
And he's a good leader, and I hope that he'll lead the city council to the right path in this decision. You know, there's a wrong way to go and there's a right way to go, just like in any big choice that you make in life. In this choice, it's real simple. The right way to go is to preserve the Bill of Rights, and one of the ways you do that is to make the First Amendment effective. And in order to effectuate the First Amendment, in order to effectuate people's ability to really communicate in our mass communication society,
right,
you have to give them access to a TV camera, because they can go out to the zoo where there's a little place where you can stand and speak, but they'll just be viewed as a lunatic and nobody will pay any attention to what they have to say. To really have any First Amendment right and privilege in this country, you got to have access to a camera.
I know for a fact we have judges and lawyers that watch this show.
Absolutely.
It would be nice if one of you would pick up your phone right now and call in and talk to the mayor. What's that?
I don't know if they have the number. I mean, if it's being shown.
Well, hopefully the number's all over the screen. But here's let's talk about perhaps if waiting on calls. How do, and you and I have physically done this, how do you challenge something that's on at City Hall that day on the docket? I mean, what do you have to do?
Here's what it's not so hard. What you do is you call City Hall, and you ask, you call 311 and they'll give you the number for City Hall, and you ask to have your name put on a list of speakers for the following week. Your name is put on a list of speakers. You find out what time to be there. You go there on the particular time, and you go and you sit in the audience, and you're called up and you're given, I believe it's 3 minutes to speak. As long as you're not abusive in your speech, which then there's no reason to be, you conduct yourself as a lady or gentleman, then you get up and you speak. And you're speaking directly to City Council, you're speaking directly to the mayor, you're speaking directly to the councilman. Now, these are our elected officials, and it is their duty to carry out the will of the people. And it is the will of the people, and it has been for over 200 years, to have a First Amendment. So we're not asking for any favor. We're expecting them to do the right thing. Last year, this station got politicized when one of the council persons was offended by some things that she saw late at night. I don't want to make personal attacks on that council person because we're not at that point. But I believe whether or not this is politically motivated or not, the bottom line is that any notion to cease funding for this station is a notion to directly attack the First Amendment, and people can get involved by going down to City Council and speaking up. In
fact, that issue doesn't need to be on the table for that day.
No,
they can go down there and air their grievances about anything they want to.
And City Council meets, all the time. They meet. There's once a week where the public is given an opportunity to air their grievances, and everybody who's interested in the Constitution and preserving the Bill of Rights should seriously consider going down there. Some people are a little timid about it, and it may not be your thing, but everybody knows somebody who's a little more outspoken than maybe they are. Encourage your friends that believe in our country. We've had too many men and women die so that we could live as free men and women. We're not free men and women if we're not given freedom of speech. They can color coat this thing any way they want. They can sugarcoat it any way they want. But if they eliminate this station, public access TV, where people like Racehorse Haynes have spoken, by the way, the great Racehorse Haynes has spoken on this very station. People like that have spoken here. If they eliminate that station, they're eliminating a lot of freedom and a lot of voices. The gentleman that called earlier, he said, little man, well, this is a station for the voices that, can't buy airtime on the major stations.
Right. One of the things about City Hall I always found intriguing was that while you are airing your grievances,
Well, they're walking around.
And
they're
talking
ignoring
on
you.
the telephone.
Yeah, it's really disrespectful. We're the people that elected them. I understand they have a lot of things to do, but when I went to
No, here's the problem. We all have a lot of things to do.
Right.
If you're going to have, and this perhaps interestingly, is I have a bone.
Yeah.
To pick.
Say it, brother. I mean, I know
the
where
reality
you're
is
going.
you show up, you go out of your way to go down to City Hall.
And sit for an hour.
And they sit there on the telephone.
And walk around.
While you're speaking to them.
Yeah.
I mean.
It's rude.
It's rude at best.
And there are elected officials. But I'm not here to attack City Council. I'm not here to attack the mayor. What I'm here to do is to alert the general public, to alert the people that care about the Constitution, and there's still many that do,
right.
Whether they're Republicans or Democrats, libertarians, whatever. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter what your ethnic background is. If you're an American, then by God, you believe in the United States Constitution by definition.
Right.
And part of the United States Constitution, my favorite part of the United States Constitution is the Bill of Rights. It's part of our Constitution.
Sure.
It's the backbone of this country. We just hung it in the criminal courthouse. Judges came down because even though we're often adversaries with the judges and the DAs came down too because as lawyers, when we took our oath, and we swore to God, the very first thing that we swore to God to do was to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America.
Right.
And every lawyer does that. Every lawyer,
before you pick your job, before you get a bench, before you go to the DA's office, a family lawyer, a bankruptcy lawyer, a criminal lawyer, you take an oath.
You take an oath and you swear to God to uphold the Constitution of the United States. It's the first thing you do. Later on, you become a judge. It's still the oath that you took. Later on, you become a prosecutor. It's still the oath you took. Later on, you become the mayor of the city. Mayor White's an attorney. He took the same oath you and I did.
Right.
And I know he's a man of integrity, and I hope that he will look back upon his oath and honor that oath, as I'm sure he will, by making sure that the First Amendment is protected here. And that's what we're talking about. When you swear to uphold the Constitution, you're talking about protecting the Constitution, which means protecting those amendments from attack. And this is a direct attack. An attack on this station is a direct attack on the First Amendment.
Folks, we got 6 minutes. Pick up the phone. If you have it in your hand, you haven't dialed yet. I almost feel like I'm trying to raise money here, but perhaps we are.
Well,
Pick up the phone and call right now.
We're trying to motivate people to realize that a very important asset to this city, one that's perhaps taken for granted, and that is this station and the people that work here, and the what goes out over the air, like this program.
Thanks for calling, caller.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Ali, and I was very much involved in this matter when 2 years ago this funding was cut off.
All right.
What it is that, in fact, I had some shows at Houston Media Source as well. What it is that none of us tried to find out what was the underlying politics behind it.
All right.
The reason that Ms. Wiseman cited was bogus because there wasn't anything like this. There wasn't any obscenity and all that. Even the district attorney refused to take any action against that. So that was a bogus reason.
That's a good point.
The real reason, what was the real reason is that there was a producer who tried to show some Palestinian films, like the duty of Israel against Palestinians.
Right.
And Ms. Wiseman did not like that, and that's why it was banned, which is very, very unfortunate because that's what you're talking about. You're talking about the First Amendment.
Right.
And that's exactly what it was. Ms. Wiseman did not like the fact that some Palestinian Israeli atrocities was shown.
Got you.
And she reacted to that, and that's when she got involved in cutting it off.
I'm going to probably disagree with you. I mean, I think you think that Miss Wiseman's Jewish and that she had something to do with cutting off a Palestinian show. Miss Wiseman is not Jewish. I am, and I support this show. So I would not support cutting off any Palestinian show or anything like that, and I'm Jewish. Miss Wiseman is not Jewish. So
no, I'm not saying I'm not
your
saying
theory that she may be...
You are assuming that. You're assuming that I think that she's Jewish. Not saying that she's Jewish or not, but this is the main reason. The reason that she cited was bogus.
I'll agree with you there.
There was no obscenity or thing like that.
I think we can agree on this, caller. I think we can agree on the fact that whatever the reason Miss Wiseman gave whether we agree on it or not, as being an accurate reason. That the truth is what we do agree on is that this station needs to stay on the air so that minority views can be aired, whether it's a Palestinian view or a Jewish view or a political view. Can we agree on that?
Let me hang up because I got a few minutes. See if I can get another call. Thanks for calling, caller. You know, there's the spectrum of folks
Right,
that
but it's
watch
good.
this.
I mean, you need to be able to air everybody's view. That's the whole purpose of it.
Right.
He and I, you know, we may disagree on why Miss Wiseman took her view, but I don't think that's where the debate is right now. I think the debate is on what needs to happen to save this station.
Hi, caller.
The real question is, how will this affect the fire safety show on the municipal channel?
Well, you know what's interesting, Si, is that in the meeting, Mr. Fickman, no relation to me, was also told that they were going to reduce their own funding for their own municipal station, which is, I can't believe any politician would not put themselves on the air. So,
Si, you asked a salient question on topic. Si.
Now, come on.
I would like to give a round of applause to Si.
Let me just say, first of all, 90% is not 100%. So you started to answer the question, how will the rest of the money be allocated? But this still sounds a little bit like rumor because all the pieces don't fit. But let's play it through really quick.
Hold on, Si. Come on now. I'm going to try to squeeze another caller in.
10% can keep it going, not as is, but up. Now the question
no,
is,
it can't. They won't have enough money. With 10% of funding, they won't have enough money to pay their staff. They won't have enough money to pay their rent.
Well, so you could do volunteers. And
Nah,
you would have
they'll go under.
that you're renting. So how else can we or y'all get the rest of the money without affecting the mission?
Well, the mission is to keep the station on, and the way to keep the station on is to make the city do what it's supposed to do, which is to support free speech.
Thanks, Si. Go ahead. Finish up, bro.
Well,
See if can squeeze a caller. I've got
I
about
understand
a
where
minute.
Si's going. He's saying in case the city doesn't do the right thing. Well, we're not at that point. We're a long way from that point. We're at the point where the city needs to do what's right and not give in to political agendas like the caller before was talking about, that he believed Miss Wiseman had a political agenda for trying to eliminate funding, which seems rather apparent given the fact that she was very vocal about the fact she didn't like the station, she didn't like what was aired on it. Well, you know, there is a lot of law that talks about limiting free speech and placing limitations on free speech. And so rather than trying to place limitations on what speech goes over the air, it seems to me that what the powers that be are trying to do is let's not try to place limitations on the speech, let's just eliminate the whole damn thing.
Right, you got about 30 seconds. We've got to wrap it. We're actually inside 30 seconds.
You know, if you care about the Constitution, if you don't want to live in a police state, pick up the phone. If you don't pick up the phone and call the mayor's office, if you don't send an email, then you're going to wake up and this is going to be one step closer to being a police state. And you may not be responsible for the world you inherit today, but you damn well be responsible for the world you pass on tomorrow.
I'd like to thank Robb. He's eloquent in his own unique way of the way he says things. If you want to see this show, if you want to see the other shows aired by Houston Media Source, start now. Start now by knocking on doors, sending emails, sending letters, go to City Hall. Hopefully we'll be around next year. I'd like to believe I'd be here a while talking to you and trying to keep these issues public. Have a good evening.